Hello everybody, Cherry here from Metabolic Balance Australia and New Zealand again, and I would love to talk to you today about snacking, which I think is something that is kind of preoccupying a lot of people right now. It is something that we all do to some extent, some really more than others sometimes. And sometimes there's real mixed messages around whether we should do it or shouldn't do it. And there's been a lot of nutritional advice over the last 30 or 40 years, really, saying, yes, we should snack. Snacking is good for us. Now, I would actually say that it is a case that our bodies do not need to have constant snacking. And in fact, it can be quite detrimental. And that is when somebody is genuinely healthy and has good blood sugar balance. We do not need to be giving the body constant food, because that will definitely lead to a poor blood sugar balance. Now, the thing that I say about snacking is it's a little bit like when you're trying to get a piece of work done, or you're trying to get something done, and you are constantly being interrupted by your kids or by something or other going on. And every hour, every half an hour, somebody is coming in and they are interrupting you from actually getting whatever you want done. That's a little bit like what happens to the body when you are constantly snacking. When you are constantly putting food into the digestive tract, it then has to deal with that food. So it can create quite an inflammatory state over a long period of time if this becomes a regular thing. The other thing that I would also always say is we've got to question why it is that we are snacking. Is it coming from a genuine need to have something to eat, as in we are really needing to have that food? Or is there very much more of a boredom factor or just comfort factor, So it's really recognizing whether it's coming from a real physiological place, which is where your body is telling you you need to find some food, or is it coming from a psychological place where you're just using it for some other reason, which you kind of could find a better way of dealing with that with the right support and the right help, of course. The other thing that I really wanted to sort of share with you as well about snacking is that food companies that create the billions of snacks and the billion-dollar industry of snacks in our supermarkets and our shops, they really, really want you to carry on snacking. It's big bucks for them. They really like you doing it. And, my first job actually out of university was working for a food and drink market research company. And we used to do all of the market research and also help them with the development to make their foods more desirable, improve that mouthfeel, improve that crunch, improve the aroma, improve even how when you open a packet, that sort of pop of the packet or something like that, how that is all part of the snacking process and what leads you to want to keep on snacking. So it was really eye-opening for me, and it's what I bring so much into helping clients, is actually recognizing that we are very much led by a multi-billion-dollar industry and billions of dollars being put into making you want to snack even more. So the other thing that you really probably need to be aware of in terms of the physiology of snacking is that there can be quite a few different things that drive that, and they're not actually necessarily coming from health. They're actually coming from an imbalance. So we need to actually address the imbalance. Often reaching for a snack is a little bit like constantly using a band-aid approach, as opposed to really using getting to the underlying cause and really actually getting your whole body back into balance. So blood sugar balance is the key thing that we talk about here, and this is the fuel that all of your cells in the body they need. So the sugar, glucose units, they come from your food. They are broken down as soon as you eat your foods, and they are released into the bloodstream. The body likes to keep the level of blood sugar at a really nice constant level, and it uses a hormone called insulin that is released. So when you get a big and you've just eaten a meal, your blood sugar rises rapidly. It then puts in insulin, and that tells the cells to take that sugar out of the bloodstream and start using it for their energy. Once that blood sugar drops down, if you have eaten a very high sugar snack, the body's put an awful lot of insulin into the bloodstream. This can lead to a far too rapid drop in your blood sugar balance, which then takes you back to that cravings. That's when you almost feel you have to have something. It's almost an emergency that you really do need to get that blood sugar back up again. This is very much saying you're on a roller coaster ride through the day. You're having peaks and troughs the whole time, and you're never really in control. And this is where it's almost ridiculous for anybody to actually say, look, don't snack. Because when you are in that trough, there's absolutely no way that you cannot have something, because that is what's really driving those desires. So it really does come from the beginning of the day. You have to start eating well at the beginning of the day, and you have to work on your blood sugar balance. You have to work on getting it stronger and more resilient so that it does stay nice and steady for you, and it supports you properly through the day. So the key thing for actually really getting a nice stable blood sugar is keeping that regularity of your meals and actually allowing genuine times between your meals where your body can clear everything up and it's not going to get interrupted from its processes. And it always starts with having a great breakfast every day. So breakfast, lunch and dinner. This is a really good way to get yourself back into a great rhythm so that we don't necessarily need to reach for the snacks. Breakfast, especially when you have any kind of blood sugar imbalance, that is really what's going to set the foundation for your day. And especially if you have a really nice protein content in that breakfast. So go for the protein, have it as your first mouthful, really make sure that you have the right amount that can sustain you through the morning. And then it's kind of really trying to get that mindfulness through the day as well. So when you're thinking, oh, I'll just go and get a snack, or you're walking into your kitchen and you're like, oh, I'll just pick up something here. Kind of try and stop yourself. Really try and work out, are you actually thirsty, for one thing? Sometimes thirst and hunger are very often mixed up. Sometimes we just need to have a beautiful glass of water, which is another thing that you really need to keep for your blood sugar balance, by the way. The other thing is, are you bored? Do you need to just distract yourself with something else? Find something else that's going to entertain you. Take up a hobby or something that you can dip into and learn something new. Is it that you are upset? Being upset is a really common reason to reach for some kind of high sugar snack, because it does actually set off some feel-good neurotransmitter in our body, in our brains. This is why high-carb foods are definitely comforting and we enjoy them, because they actually are setting off the serotonin and the dopamine, which are the reward-giving neurotransmitters, and it makes us feel good. But equally, when we find far better ways to create that serotonin, dopamine, we don't necessarily need to actually add in that extra food, which is going to cause inflammation and cause us eventually to feel bad about ourselves. So it is about recognizing what it is that's driving your desire to have something outside of a mealtime. The other thing could also be gut flora balance. That's the other, your gut bacteria. They can often really drive a sugar craving, especially if it's sugar that you're really craving. do you need to work on your gut flora balance, which is that healthy bacteria in your stomach, in your large and small intestine. So there's all sorts of different things that can be driving why you want to have a snack, and this is something to become really aware of and sort of try and see, is this what I need to be focusing on more than just resorting straight away to that quick snack that ultimately is going to lead you to just not feel good, your health going in the wrong direction. But the final thing I actually do want to talk about here is actually not allowing yourself to go into that shame or guilt place. Far too many people, I think it's so common that we actually feel shame or guilt with what we're eating or what we're doing. And that is so damaging. It is, it's very, the studies have shown that a lot of women actually snack in private. They do it just when nobody else can see, and they try to hide the fact that they're snacking. And this is really so detrimental to just your mental well-being. I am all for complete acceptance, body acceptance, awareness of why you're doing it, and working out better strategies if they are needed to work on that. Shame about ourselves and our choices is just far too damaging in total, and we need to just come back and acknowledge that where things need a bit of support, and actually recognize, as I said at the very beginning of this, food manufacturers are really wanting you to do the snacking. They are driving you all the time. They are telling you this snack is going to be the answer to your problems. You're going to really enjoy this snack. Or that it's limited edition. You're going to miss out if you don't have this snack. You're always missing out, and you're not. And I think this is where there's so much scope to really recognize where it's coming from. Is it actually healthy for you? And definitely not have any of that shame or guilt on yourself, because that bit can be far too damaging, in my opinion. It really can. So there's a lot that we could also expand on. So I will be expanding on quite a few of these different areas I've touched on today in future videos. And if there is something that I've said that you would love me to talk about a little bit more, please do say that in the comments, and then I can go into it in a little bit more detail. So I hope you found that useful, and it is about awareness. It is about recognizing if and when you do need to snack, recognizing that your meals are so important, and that really between meals, as grown adults, we should not need to have more food. We can very much go for 5-6 hours between meals without needing extra food. And also, one final point just popped into my head, recognizing that hunger is an important mechanism in the body that is telling you it is time to eat. But it does not mean that the minute you feel hungry, you have to squash that feeling. Sometimes it is actually recognizing, oh, I'm feeling hungry. I'm really looking forward to my dinner, which is only sort of 30 or 40 minutes away. I'm going to wait till dinner. I'm not going to just get rid of that feeling immediately. Because I think some of us, what I recognize anyway, is that you kind of almost become intolerant to any kind of feeling of hunger, because we live in a society that we don't have to be hungry for even 1 minute. We can grab something really quick and just squash it. But actually, being ready to eat your meal within the next half an hour, next hour, that is really normal, and that is good. It allows you to also appreciate your meal when it comes along. So it's keeping the awareness, it's calming down, it's recognizing why you're feeling a little bit hungry. When is your next meal coming from? So I will finish there before something else pops in my head. So thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you during my next slide. Thank you.